Hi, this is Raquel with Paints and Glitter, and this is a tutorial video on how to make the little hat box card to fit inside of one of these little hat boxes that's available at my Etsy store. Someone asked me if I created an SVG file for the actual hat card. Here's one of them. This is the one I made for the other video. However, this is not my original idea, so I was not going to copy it and try to benefit from it. So I did not make an SVG file, but I can make a tutorial on how I made this one. So I'm going to give you the measurements so that way you can have a cute little hat card that's going to fit inside of the box. It does fit again in the SVG one. The PNG file is actually a little bit smaller because it's meant to fit 8.5 by 11 pieces of paper, but as you can tell there's a lot of room there. So this is an easel hat card. It folds like that if you haven't seen that video, and I'm going to show you how to make it. Okay, so I'm going to set that aside. So what you will need is a 4" by 8" piece of paper. This is going to be the base of your card. You can go ahead and fold this in half or score it in half. So you can score this at 4 inches here, right in half, and fold it. Okay. Once you've got a nice crease on that, go ahead and place it on your cutting mat with a circle that's going to overlap slightly. Now this particular circle measures about 3 7/8, and I like to place a little bit of washi tape to make sure that it stays. I'll go like this, place it, leave myself a tiny little gap, and run this through the die cutting machine. If you don't have a die cutting machine or a computer to go ahead and make a 3 7/8" circle, then you can use a protractor and just make sure that the radius of the circle is you know, half of 3 7/8, so that way you get your measurement correctly. So there's that piece. Once you run it through your die cutter and you leave that little gap, you're going to get something that looks like this. It's going to have a flat edge, and then you're going to be able to open your card like so. Now what you can do is take one of these sides and you're going to fold it toward that flat edge, making sure that you get your nice fold there. So that way you're folding that circle right in half, just like that. This is going to be the base of your card. You're going to use the same size circle, and you're going to cut yourself a piece of cardstock. Okay, that's going to be the base of the brim of your hat there. So what you want to do is that you can either do this in another piece of heavy cardstock that's in a different color, or you can match it to your base. That's up to you, but you will adhere it like so. To make sure that you adhere this properly, only place adhesive on this top portion and then place this right on top, line it up, and you're going to have something that looks like this. Okay, and now it's able to open in a gatefold style, and to make sure that it props up, you would need to adhere something down here. To be able to move along with the top portion of this hat, you're going to need a smaller circle. Okay, I've got 2 pieces here because I want to make sure that I have it nice and sturdy. This one here measures, let's see here, 2, and I believe it's 2.5. Yes, this is about 2.5 inches. Okay, so I've also cut a piece of paper that's 2 inches by 7.5, and this is going to allow me to have the side of my little hat. So I'm going to score this on the 2-inch side. I'm going to score it right at 1/2 inch on both sides. All right, once you have that scored, you can go ahead and fold that if you want to, but the important thing is that you cut the sides so that it can now fold into a circle. Okay, and the way to do that, the easiest way to do it, is to cut V shapes into the sides, and I'll show you how. So you take your scissors and just start cutting out little V's right up until that score line, no further than that, and you want to make sure you do that all the way down on both sides. Once you have all of these cut out, your paper is going to look like this, and at this point you can also take your bone folder and just run it through the paper like so. If you don't have a bone folder, you can use a pencil, and you're going to get your nice curve just to get you started, okay? So this is going to adhere onto this base piece of paper here. You can either adhere it so that these little pieces adhere on the top, overlapping, or do it the way that I like to do it, which is to just keep them all on one side, okay? So I'm just going to place a tiny bit of adhesive to get me started. Be sure to use strong adhesive to get you started. Then you just start placing this right on top and making sure that you meet the edge of that paper, like so. I like to use my thumb to pinch both papers together and hold it for a second to allow that adhesive to dry and make contact with both pieces of paper. Okay. And then I clean off with my other hand whatever might start oozing out of the edge there. Makes it for a cleaner project. Okay. And then keep pinching like that. Now I just add a little more adhesive, and I take my time with this because this is what you want to make sure is nice and clean and pretty. It'll make it for a nicer finish on your card. So you don't want to rush this part. And the reason I made this an inch tall, which you don't have to, you can certainly make this part half an inch tall, but I did so that I would have room for embellishments, okay? It's the only reason I made it this tall. There are plenty of other tutorials out there that you can follow. This is just my own for this size, and I haven't really watched any other tutorials. I just saw the card online. I forget who it was that posted it, and I thought, hey, I think I can make that. And sure enough, you know, I figured a few circles would do it, and it worked out just fine. So, but there are plenty of others out there because, again, this is not my original idea. All right, so here, this is going to meet up with the other piece. And what you want to make sure you do is that you place this one on the inside so that way you can seal it up at the end. Okay. And of course, you want to make sure that it's nice and straight. I don't want to rush it. Okay. Just like that. And once you have your piece here at the end, since in this case it's overlapping a little bit, and I just did that to be on the safe side. Okay, you just want to place your adhesive there, like that, and then that way you can push your paper out and it'll overlap nicely and you get a nice clean edge there also. Okay, just like that. And then on this side, I just placed some adhesive on that to make sure that these little guys stayed together. Just like that. So I don't want this getting undone there. Okay, so you're left with a piece that looks like this. And this top here, this is going to be the top of your hat. Here you can use a decorative die cut if you want to. That's what I did on the other hat. Or you can just place your decorative piece of paper here, which is what I'm going to do now. Just like that. And just going to press it down very gently. Okay, so it'll look like that. Once you've got that, you can place this on the base of your card. If you want to, you can place another decorative piece. That's what I did on mine. Was that I had cut some other pieces like these just to make it prettier, just to add more color. So that's what I'm going to do now. And again, these are just concentric, you know, circles here. No need to be too specific on those measurements because this is up to you, and if you want to use a doily die or anything like that, you can certainly do that. You can dry emboss it, which is what I did with the other hat. This is just going to be a little more clean and simple. So there's those layers, like that. Okay, and now this one can go right in the center of that. Okay, what you want to be mindful of is that you have your crease line to the side where you want to decorate. So say you want to put your flowers all on the left-hand side, then put that little crease line to the left, and that way you cover it with your decorations, okay? So I'm just going to pinch these in a little bit, not too much. Okay, and here you can use whatever adhesive you want. If you want to use hot glue, you can, just to get this to adhere very nicely and make it faster. So that's what I'm going to do. Or you could stick with your liquid adhesive. It's really up to you. What you want to make sure happens is that you don't get it too close to the edge. You don't want any oozing out. And you get a 1 chance at this if you are using hot glue. So just determine where you want this. And of course, don't get it on the edge like I just did. Okay, so just determine where you want that. Place your little hat down. And this is nice glue, so I have about a second here. Okay, and then just press down. Just don't get it on the edge like I did. So you get something that looks like this. Okay, there's your little hat. All right, and it's gonna still fold like that. Okay, so now it's time to decorate. Now you do whatever you like. You can splatter this with paint, you can add flowers, you can do whatever suits your fancy. You can definitely add some trim. That's what I did for my other hat. So on this one, I think that I want to add some ribbon around it like this. Why not keep it in that color family since it's sitting here anyway? So I'm just going to put a ribbon around my hat. And I don't want to fiddle with this too much, but all right. There's my little bow, okay, and my little ribbon all the way around. And of course you could adhere it if you want to, but what I'm going to do is place my flowers here as what's going to adhere my bow down to my hat. So I've just got a grouping here of flowers. I'm going to start with my center one, and this is going to go right in the middle of that bow, just like that. And I made this little flower by putting a little bead in the center and wrapping the paper around it. So that way it has that nice body to it. And then I just used some papers in my stash to make these other ones. So I'm going to add those right behind the ribbon. Whoopsie, right there. I do want that ribbon poking out a bit. Create a little element here to be able to prop this up when you open the card. What I'm going to do is use one of these little roses, beautiful board piece from Renee Bouquets. I'm just going to place some adhesive on the back. This is what I did with the other card as well. I'm going to open my card and place this just strategically there so that it holds my card open. And that is it, guys. I hope that this tutorial has been useful to you, that you've learned how to make your little folding hat. And if you have any questions, of course, feel free to reach out to me. But there it is. It fits inside of my little box, and I'm happy with that because then I can fill the rest with other goodies to send out. But I hope that you've enjoyed this, that you can be inspired and be blessed. And thank you so much for watching. Bye.